without further ado, Ian, why don't you start off the recap as per usual, since you want to practice your creative writing.
Ain't nothing creative about it. But actually, you know what? In attempts to class this joint up, I did a poem as the recap. So that's something, the new wrinkle I'll be doing each week until I forget. So, 'twas the Sunday morning of week one when we had announcements galore. But the best came out of Dallas, where Jerry gave 4 for our 4. Yes, Rain Dakota Prescott finally re signed, the new $240 million man. Our QB was now poised to take on the number one defense in all of AFC land. Our boys won in dominant fashion, the game nearly over with 20 minutes still to go. There were plenty of good showings, like the youngins Guyton, BB, Carson, and D Mo. And let's not forget Brandon Aubrey and Mike Zimmer, who threatened to steal the hearts on this show, but it was old man Kendricks who earned third string's player of the game on the road. Whew. So, that was exciting. Not my poem, but the game on Sunday. And I don't know if we want to go into like the game. I don't know, by each quarter or whatnot, or we just want to look ahead. I mean, it's week one, so we can't get too ahead of ourselves. But it was a nice showing, all in all.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get ahead of myself.
go
Dan
ahead, Justin.
Quinn was a malpractice patient waiting to
Boy,
happen.
you're
That
not
dude,
kidding.
yeah, bro, come on. Let's just forget all the. I know, like you said, don't get ahead of yourself. Blah 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 blah. But the fact that that man said it was acceptable to start Marquise Bell as our linebacker and Clark last year, I think it needs to be called into question, especially after the one game complete difference in regards to the linebacking department.
Yeah, no, called into question. There was an answer. They fired his ass. That was just unacceptable.
They
Uh,
didn't fire him.
well, okay,
He
didn't
got another
resign him. It's the
job.
same thing. That's
He
the
got
same thing. He's not here. And what Mike Zimmer did outside of the great schemes that he had lined up for this game was also bringing in Eric Kendricks. We saw Overshown, who was injured last year, show some blazing speed in the path to Deshaun Watson. So yeah, no, you mentioned the linebackers. We actually have some this year, so that is much better to see for our defense. Going to the secondary, of course, no Bland with the injury, but we saw a rookie out there. What were y'all's thoughts about his performance?
Um, I thought if he made a play early, he was so close. I think like the first few drives to getting a pick and running back with it. I thought if he did that, then it was probably going to be a good showing and a good couple of weeks with him in for Bland. But since he didn't make those plays, and eventually he did kind of get eaten early, he got the rookie treatment on that one touchdown drive in the first, or I don't know, by the Browns, the first touchdown drive. Got me a little concerned with him back there.
My man needs to go invest in some hands, honestly, because
Yeah, he
that's
did a
what
drop a gimme too.
you dropped two. I
Yeah,
mean,
one was a
one
little bit of a stretch, but yeah, the
I
lower
don't remember
one
that.
in the
Yeah,
second half,
the he jumped up on the sideline and it went
Watson
through his
rolled
mm.
out.
hands, and then the other one, like Rudy said, he it was an overthrow and he dove for
Yeah,
it
I
and
remember
it
that one.
popped out of his hands. So I mean, all in all, well done. He's just holding serve until Bland gets back healthy. So I can't complain too much if you he doesn't get you killed. So that's all he's out there for, and honestly, is just do enough to not be a liability and just let everybody else make plays. Even though Ian wants to not re-sign the man that kind of destroyed the whole game, but it is what it is.
Oh,
AKA
Micah.
Micah, yeah.
Well, you
I mean,
know,
Cap the cap's limited, but
I,
we can get into that later. You mentioned him wrecking the game, and he did go crazy, batting that ball up in the air. Where our player of the game, Eric Kendricks, came in and picked it off, and he got to the quarterback plenty of times. Demarcus Lawrence was back there too, and I feel like in the past years we've seen him be a definite like one of the better run defensive ends in the league. But seeing him get a sack and make play a strip sack as well, right? Although we didn't recover it. He was back there all day, so I mean that was nice to see too.
Yeah, I just wonder. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about how bad the Browns' offense are, and so
And
that's why I know you guys.
they
You
were
guys are
missing
ready to
some
run with
offensive.
it.
They were missing some
Well,
offensive linemen
I
as well. There were some
I
injuries
think
too.
I don't think I still think it's fair to call into question Dan Quinn, especially the way he had the football team looking against Baker. So I mean, I think it's only gonna go up as far as improvement. I know obviously you're gonna have better opponents starting not this week but next week with Baltimore. Uh, but I mean, it is what it is. I just feel like the fact that have actual linebackers that have athleticism that can pursue the ball that aren't too small, I think it's just gonna make it a whole lot better considering the top end talent that you have already in obviously Micah, Travion. You can throw Marcus Lawrence in there too. I just think that your ceiling was already pretty high just because of your marquee players, but now their floor is even higher because linebackers are actually there to actually do their job and not you know just give up cheap runs 4 yards a pop just because they're out there. Unlike like last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean 100%. It's kind of an issue we've had for a few years, our run defense, and so the additions, the schematics of it all is definitely given a lot of. We have a lot of promise right now. Of course, time will tell if we're actually able to execute throughout the season, but it definitely looks better than what it has in the past.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to mean to be the negative Nelly on this podcast, but I mean, we're an injury away in the linebacker core to
Oh,
probably being back where we are with DQ. I mean, if we lose Overshown like he did last year, you're relying on old man Kendricks to play 17. And I
I
heard
mean, you
somebody,
can say that about any team, bro. So just
I
don't
don't know if
jinx it
that's
until it
true.
happens.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. There's no reason to complain about it until it happens. But I think it is important that I don't agree. I think some teams have better depth than the Cowboys do, but I think that's been the Cowboys' MO for a long time coming. So I should be used to that. But I would be a name that we haven't brought up is Mr. Jordan Lewis. Man, I love the way that guy plays, and I think he adds that Trayvon Diggs element that we didn't have last year because obviously Diggs was out, and then just Jordan Lewis and Diggs working together, bro. It's man, I used to pray for times like this in the secondary where we had that attitude on the edges.
I
no,
mean, go ahead, Rudy. I'll let you go.
I was just gonna say he's a dog, man. Like I love him in pursuit, getting tackles on the outside when it's just him alone. Yeah, no, he's so reliable out there, and so no, it's just good to see that out there. Go
Now,
ahead,
okay,
Justin.
I will agree with you this, Ian. Obviously, the Browns are pretty stinky offensively because of certain reasons, but I do want to see what the safeties will be like this year
Yes.
because they were so inconsistent last year. It wasn't even funny. So, yes, I'll hold the horses fully in regards to it being a lot better after I see some more data points in regards to the safety room. But I do think the linebacking core is a lot significantly improved, and I think that needs to go not unstated just because I felt like last year was just so bad because of it.
Yeah, I think also too. Someone pointed out that when Kendricks had to go out in the second half to get an IV because he's an old man, just like Brandon Cooks. Nick
How do you
Vigil
need to
came in.
get an IV in 50-degree weather? But
Well,
whatever.
anyways, but Nick
That's
Vigil.
his first game, basically. Did he even play in the preseason?
I need to give grace to the old man, like Ian said. So
But again, maybe to y'all's point about DQ, Damone Clark did not come in and take his spot, bro. Like Nick Vigil came in, and that man barely made the team because he was playing in like preseason game 3. So yeah, and then you did highlight the safeties there, Justin. I think there was one where like they threw, I don't know, but like the wide receiver caught the ball underneath and was like kind of running back towards the line of scrimmage, and then like kind of looped forward for the first down, and my very own AA Whoop Mr. Donald Wilson took a terrible angle and kind of tackled the cornerback on there. So the safeties were able to hide this game, because Watson wasn't doing anything, going deep or anything on them. And I think to the point too, the linebackers weren't letting anything on the ground get to them. So more interesting things to come, and I think we'll get that test next week. I think we're kind of playing the Browns again, but maybe with a better offense and Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara, just more offensive firepower.
I wouldn't. Man, you really pumping that Derek Carr Kool-Aid, bro. Like,
okay,
don't let
no. I'm not bumping it. Let's look at what we just watched, and then the
I don't
Saints.
know, man. What's the difference? Because the Browns are gonna win 10 games, in my opinion. They're gonna win 10 plus. So
yeah, because of their defense, not because of their offense. So it's going to be a different test.
Bro, they played the Panthers. I don't care that they put up 40. That dude, Derek Carr, he's still the same man, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Speaking of offense, I feel like we need to move over to the offensive side just before we end the segment. Obviously, people can ho-hum about they didn't do too much second half, but I feel like in games like this where, look, you know who you're going up against. It's the number one defense in the league. It's a defense that's going to change the game could change the game at any moment. I feel like just putting up those points and getting scores almost every possession, not almost every possession, but consistently getting scores throughout the game, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. I feel like that's doing your job in regards to games like those. I mean, it's not going to light up the scoreboard. It's not going to put up stats. Like, you're not going to win fantasy football player of the week against this type of defense. But I think the fact that they're able to consistently put up points, whether it be just getting in the field goal range, I think that bodes well for the.
Yeah, I mean, and we almost saw it at the end of the half where they're kicking it they attempted the 66-yarder and there's a delay of game. But I mean, when you really only have to go 50 yards to almost guarantee points on any drive, it is a big advantage the Cowboys have going forward throughout the season. And then, Dak didn't even have his greatest game. He was underthrowing some throws, overthrowing other ones. So once he finds his footing, I think that, we'll score more points. And this was against a good Browns defense. So there's a lot of positives to take out of the offense. Even y'all's boy Zeke looked a little spry out there. So there's a lot to be happy for going forward.
Yeah, I just think, to your point, Justin, you did leave meat on the bone, but I think sometimes it's not worth going after that extra meat in the wilds. There's no reason to risk it, bro. You got your food and you got the dub. Let's just make this game wind down, even though that third quarter took years. The game, I mean, the offensive game plan was perfect in the first half. I mean, let's not forget we were down 3-0, and that first drive we had was pretty poo-poo. So when we had to get points, I know it's really early on, they went and did that. Now, the only portion that I was worried about with Guyton, I mean, overall, pretty solid game. But there was that one moment when Myles Garrett came around the edge, and that was the moment where, like, that was what I was thinking when I made my predictions for this game, is that strip sack and just Guyton having a tough day. I thought that was, if that happened, if this scenario took place in the second half, I think that's probably the time, and maybe in a Jason Garrett era, where our team falls apart. But this Mike McCarthy team, we just have a different identity. And so it didn't prove costly. Somebody got on the ball. And that was really the only bad moment, because more or less they didn't really risk it after that point when, they didn't have to.
Yeah, say what you want about McCarthy. I mean, I get it. No one likes him because they do kind of dumb stuff in the playoffs. But, I mean, when it comes to, like, the regular season and it comes to, like, okay, this isn't going to be, like, we're not going to have all the cards in our hands this game, the man figures out ways to do what it takes to just win the game. And I can applaud the man for doing that, because that's all you need to do at this point, especially when it comes to the front office and the fan base. They're all talking about, oh, well, nothing else matters besides what you do in the postseason. Well, just getting wins is going to help with that because you need to get to the postseason first before you can be all that matters is what you do in the postseason. So the fact that they were able to just get in and get out, get a dub, I think, and especially not put the game ever in jeopardy, speaks volumes, especially in the previous regime where you start off the game so poo poo, like you said, and then the Browns. So didn't they like make a big special teams play before they got that field goal to get
Yeah, I mean, it was a
into
bad punt,
territory?
and then the guy had like a 20-yard return, so they were already in Cowboy territory.
Exactly. So how many times in the Garrett era do we see the next following offensive possession, another punt? Then
Or the
they
Kellen
just
Moore era, 3 and out.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was looking a little Kellen Moore second half, but
Again, yeah,
after
that
Turpin
didn't matter.
scored, who cares? Like,
Yeah,
just get out and get a win.
Yeah, I will say though, and it was a blowout, and we knew we were going to coast to the end. But after that Turpin touchdown, it seemed like we had no interest in even having the ball or like doing anything with it. So I don't like being so confident already. Like, I mean, try something out, mix it up, or I don't know. It just felt like we were just coasting to the end there. Uh,
I I really think it's just like, look, we're not gonna do any like. So I think it came down to this: we're not gonna do any deep passes because we don't. I mean, Miles Garrett's a ticking time bomb, so let's not have our new $240 million quarterback out there risking either injury or a turnover that would kind of honestly flip the game at that point. So let's just do quick stuff and say what you want about Cleveland. Those DBs were chirping, and rightfully so, because they were kind of had Lamb on lockdown on that shorts game. I mean, the refs did let a lot of hand checking and stuff go, but that's okay. I mean, that's just how football is sometimes. The only thing is, like, the run game was pretty poor, and I don't know. I haven't seen any film or anybody breaks down film talk about the run game in the second half. I felt like they kind of leaned in the pass too much, quick passes still.
I mean, that's going to be the MO the entire season. So
That's
get
the only thing
used
I
to
don't
it.
like then, because I think you
It's going to
should have
be
tried to establish the run at that point and just either one, just whoop up on this team and break this team.
I
I
mean,
think that's a low risk.
there was definitely room for improvement in our run blocking, to be honest. I mean, in the second half, there were a few carries that we went to Zeke or Rico with, and I mean, there was no yards to be gained there. So I mean, that if we're looking at something that definitely needs improvement, I would go with that run blocking.
Yeah, but let me say this: it's either two things. It's either the runners not seeing the hole, looking at you, Rico Dowdle, or, in my opinion, in my case, whenever Zeke got the ball, I think the Browns just played it well and didn't allow any openings. But who knows?
hey, like
I
I
mean,
said, you better get used to that all year. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
What poor running
Yeah,
game?
I mean, especially with an opponent like that. So, but I
Well,
feel
that's
like
fine.
my whole thing with the run game is all I need you to do in the run game is extend drives. So if that means if whoever's going to get the ball on 3rd and 3 and they pick up the first down, hey, sure, you look at the final box scoring and be like, a 3 yard carry or 3 yards per carry. That's pretty gross. But if every 3 yards is extending the drive, that's all I can ask for. That's all I want. Because last year was unacceptable in that sense, where sure you could get an explosive play at some times, but how many times did we just blow up a drive because we didn't know how to hand off the ball on a short yard situation, or they didn't know how to they just couldn't pick up the first down because of it. So I do think it was pretty evident, especially in the first half, that they were able to, when they did go to the run game, when it was hey, we need to pick up this first down situation. It was pretty easy money, not gonna lie, even though like I said, it's not gonna reflect in the box score. We sold you on some why the Cowboys are probably gonna be better this year. I mean, we sold you on that last week. Y'all just gotta tune in every episode. So a little prediction right there for you. But it's time for a little buy or sell on these other teams around the league. Gentlemen, I want to start it off with not necessarily a team, but a position. I hear too much talk about, and you can see how the advertisers market this silly little game when it comes to the quarterback. Now, the young quarterbacks out throughout the league, pretty smelly. Um, okay, just taking a look at the passing yards throughout the entire league, bro. What if I told y'all that one player only cracked 300 yards this weekend? What would be y'all's reaction?
Uh,
mm,
I mean, you're saying one quarterback, like of any quarterback, or just
Yeah,
rookies?
just one quarterback cracked 300 yards.
It's
I would
pretty
say
weak.
running backs matter.
Oh,
Correct.
this guy.
Ding,
Oh
ding,
my.
ding.
But okay, I want to specifically go to the bottom of this bracket that I just pulled up for you guys. All right, starting off with Bryce Young, 161. Disgusting. Justin Fields, 156. Putrid. But the worst ones, Bo Nix, Will Levis, Jacoby, well, forget Brissett, but Caleb Williams. Oh my word, bro. Worst quarterback play I've ever seen in my life when it came to that Bears Titans game. So are y'all selling stock on these young guns that are coming up? Because I already didn't have any of this type of stock, but I'm willing to double. I'm willing to double the price and sell whatever I got. No, reduce the price just to
You're
get rid of
selling
it.
it
Because
half.
yeah, half off. Because whatever stock I did own, I just really don't want it when it comes to these young quarterbacks.
Man, it's hard to just like sell the farm after one game for some of the quarterbacks. I don't
No, we could
know.
sell it for all of them, please.
I'll sell Will Levis's. I'll sell Bo Nix's. I'm holding firm on Caleb's. I'm not selling, but I'm not buying either. I need to see more before I make a
It's a all or one package, Rudy. You can't divvy it out like that. Justin
Well,
made the
how am I gonna
rules.
buy a stock of someone who like decided to not throw the? Oh no, God. I mean,
Hey, if you think Caleb Williams is going to be that great that you're going to hold on to it, that he's going to be the next.
I
if you're gonna
yeah, I
sell
mean,
your
I'll buy
Caleb
it.
Williams at half price,
I'm
I'll
selling
buy
it.
that.
I'm selling it. You could buy it. I'm not. I think that dude's a project. Just like all these other young quarterbacks. I mean, Jordan Love got hurt. I mean,
Is he really a
how
young
many game?
quarterback though?
How
Yeah, ain't
many?
he like
Well,
26, 27?
he's technically a young quarterback, and when it comes to the playing the game of football in the NFL,
Eh.
Hmm.
uh, that dude only have like at the end of the day, what maybe 8 good starts. So, and they got all that money invested in him, and it's already like I feel like the dude's got to be on the field and get better to just already gave him like a big contract, not the pocket watch. Um, Trevor Lawrence, when's it gonna happen? Herbert, that dude looks like a wasted year because of just the playmakers that they have. Um, I guess CJ Stroud is it when it comes to that.
What
And
about
they,
Anthony Richardson?
hey,
Ooh, good
cool
shout.
highlights,
I'll
but
I'll buy some Anthony Richardson stock.
I think there's enough cases to where you buy. I mean, Caleb Williams, I'm not giving it. Like I said about the Cowboys, you can't. I mean, week one ain't going to define anything for the entire season. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
say Caleb Williams' ass because of week one.
man, you can't even crack 100. That's no man. And
I
then they
mean,
don't give them the post game interview because they won the game when clearly that's not why they won the game with a special teams and defensive touchdown to take the lead. No, absolutely not.
I mean, they were gonna interview the number one overall pick no matter what, but
That man was
yeah,
on the sideline half the game, like because he couldn't sustain a drive. But okay, go ahead, Rudy. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. I mean, we've seen good quarterbacks throw 4 interceptions, and yes, he did nothing going, forward down the field. But again, it's week one, so I'll give him time to get there.
Okay, another buy or sell. Do we are we buying that the Lions can contend for the number 1 seed after both their performance and San Francisco's performance? I know a lot of people are high on the Rams, but I mean they're kind of snooze to me in my opinion, especially if Puka is going to be out for a minute. And the Lions that kind of took all their might to kind of win and regain that win back, and then the 49ers kind of made easy work of the Jets. So
I just think it depends on how you. Like, I don't know, man. It's too early to really say anything, but if I'm going with what my preseason prediction was, which is yes, the Lions are gonna be that top team in the NFC. So yeah, I'm not gonna change now after week one, and I think the Rams are a decent team. Jets not so
Yeah,
much.
I was gonna say. I think when we were doing the winners of each division, and in some divisions we would pick who finished second, third, and fourth. Ian and I were we agreed that the Jets were kind of fraudulent in that division, if I'm correct. And so to see what the Niners did against what's supposed to be a really good defense, I mean the Niners are a really good offense. Mason looked really good out there too, the backup running back. O line that the Niners have, they're fantastic. To say that the Lions can't win the number one or like they can compete for it. I do think it's the Niners to win the conference, but that wasn't determined off week one. I thought that prior to that.
I think it's the 49ers seed to lose, quite honestly. I mean, they like we talked about last week, they found the money to keep all these players somehow, which whatever. But it is what it is. They kept everybody and didn't really lose anybody, and everybody's important is healthy right now. So I think as of right now, I don't really see them not lose. I don't really see them not winning 12 or 13 games, quite
Well,
honestly.
not everyone's healthy, but I mean
Oh well, yeah, McCaffrey, but I mean, after Monday
they
night,
looked fine without him.
yeah, like especially against a pretty stout defense that I don't know what their deal was. They act like they couldn't get off a block to save their life when it came to the run game, but and old man Rogers, oof.
Dude,
But
you were buying that Rodgers hype. You want to sell it now?
no, I'm keeping that.
You're holding the
'Cause
stock.
yeah, because AFC is sweet, so it is what it is. That leads me to my next question for y'all. Um, Buy or sell on these supposed contenders of the AFC, aka Baltimore. I'm not throwing Miami in there because it's Miami. Jacksonville, they found a way to lose a game again. Doug P, hot seat. I told y'all that. Um, I guess Texans. That's another quote unquote contender. They should have lost that game in my opinion. Do y'all think that do y'all think those are real contenders, especially Baltimore, after the way they kind of followed the same script per usual when it comes to playing that team?
What is it? Well, I think that's what just Baltimore's MO is. What is it? What do we call them last year? The most unserious? Was it unserious or
Yeah, the most
get in their own
unserious
way
team.
or something like that? Yeah, it looks like they haven't broken that habit. But I mean, it's week one. I think they'll be fine. I think we might get a AFC Championship rematch with those two teams between
Well,
Baltimore and Kansas City.
yes.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say with Baltimore. No, I don't want to like condemn a team after 1 week, but seeing what their O line did, knowing they had to replace 3 linemen and who they replaced them with did not look good. That's kind of scary for the Ravens, to be honest. I mean, they had to kind of change up their offense to get the ball out of Lamar's hand quicker. You saw them going to the flats more often than they did last year. That offensively is not the same team as they were. Um, oh man, I definitely lost some confidence in them after seeing that performance on when was that, Thursday night?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot another team. What did y'all think of Buffalo? To put Buffalo in that equation too. Granted, that took some gutso to apparently beat the Cardinals at home too. But
So wait, I want to go back. Jacksonville, sell. And then honest, and then who was the other team you brought up before
the
Buffalo?
Texans.
Texans. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. That I mean, people were saying, "Whoa, Texans," but it was a 2 point game that they had to seal on like a last minute or on like a. They still had to go out and kind of put that game to bed. Well, no, I don't know what I'm saying, but it was pretty close, and I didn't think it was
Well,
gonna be.
I think it's the same
Well-
old story whenever they play the Colts. And the Colts, like we all said at the beginning of the or last week, the Colts are going to be there at the end of the season, contending for
I was
that
gonna
division
say,
with them.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm not selling any Texans because I mean that the way that the Colts played offensively too, like they deserved to be in that game. It was a tight game, and in fact, to see the Texans be able to run the ball to kind of ice it with Mixon, that like makes me feel even better about them compared to the backfield they had last year. So I'm comfortable still having the Texans as a contender. Jacksonville is interesting. Oh, both of y'all making faces on that one. That's all right. I
I
believe in them.
yeah, I don't know, man. I
Jackson.
just didn't. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, go ahead. Jacksonville. I don't know. Kind of stinky. I'll pass on them. But go ahead. Continue with the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, I put Texans above Jacksonville, but Texans, I think, are it's between Buffalo, Kansas City, and
Ugh.
Baltimore for me. And even then, Buffalo is like an injury away from being out of it and being in that second tier, which is where the Texans are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm selling all of it. All those teams are,
Are
especially
there any
after
good teams left in that conference to you?
No, bro, I don't think the AFC is that good. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I know they got all the quarterbacks that everybody loves, and that's it. Like we already, Cincinnati was never a contender for me anyway, so I didn't include them. And then we saw what they did Sunday, but
Okay.
so I didn't even bother putting them in there. But Jacksonville, not serious. They're gonna do something stupid at the end of the game, and the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback's too inconsistent. Um, Baltimore, they can't apparently get over this one team. They've only beat them like what one time in the last like since Lamar's been the starter.
I think
So
so.
yeah, and that took like a superstar performance in like what week 3 or something like that. I remember it was like in September too. Um, so they're never gonna beat that team, which that team's not even really all that great in my opinion, but it is what it is. And then Buffalo, to your point, they I don't know. I know they won the game, and I know it was kind of like they controlled, or once they got the lead, they kind of controlled the game for the rest of the way. But the fact that Arizona was kind of just working them in the beginning of the game was very concerning. And obviously, Josh Allen already hurt. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, the injuries definitely can exacerbate that problem for Buffalo. I will say, I mean, that's a Cardinals team that last year beat them boys and went into Philly and won that game too. And they're still not a great team,
Hey,
right? I know
NFC
that.
is where real football is played, Rudy. They
But
run the
well,
football.
my
So
point is that even though the Cardinals came out really strong, Buffalo did come back, and like you said, once they got a hold of the lead, they never let it go, right? So, yeah, they started slow, but depending on how that injury goes, I still think the Bills are up there. Are they? They might be the third best team in that conference. Second.
they just because of Josh Allen alone, they probably have the best shot as far as beating KC. Just because everybody else is apparently too scared when it comes to Baltimore is apparently too scared when it comes to Kansas City, in my opinion. And the Texans, man, we'll see. But the fact that that should have been a Colts dub, in my opinion, is very. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it. Monocle emoji, like.
All right, and we're back with everyone's favorite segment, the Pick'ems. Ian, how did we do last week?
Well, we tied, Rudy. We each got 8 apiece, so 500. And Justin takes a commanding 12-game lead.
Hmm.
Well, actually, four game lead, but he got 12 wins.
Oh my.
Back to you.
So only 4 wrong for Justin there. I mean, pretty good start. It's a shame that it has to end.
3 actually, because we had a push or whatever.
Okay. Well, it's a shame that all that success will stay in week 1, as we flip over to week 2 and we also flip over a new leaf. We start off with the Bills traveling to Miami, take on the in-division rival Dolphins. The spread is currently Bills plus 2.5. Who do y'all fellas got?
Give me Buffalo.
Bills plus 2.5. Wow. Yeah, give me Buffalo.
Clean sweep, circle them wagons apparently. Moving on. Now we go to Sunday. We got the Raiders traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The spread is currently Raiders plus 6.5. Fellas, who you got?
Ravens.
That's a big spread, but give me the Ravens.
You know what? Give me the Raiders. I'll say them Pirates get it done. Moving on. We got the Chargers traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers, where it is Panthers plus
Oof.
6.5. Who do y'all got?
Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers.
And it's a clean sweep for them
I
Chargers.
would hope so. Worst team in the league, bro. That's goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's heinous, honestly. Nolans, the Saints are traveling to Big D to take on them boys. The spread is currently Saints plus 6.5. Who y'all got?
Give me the Cowboys.
Where do you go?
I'll take the at-home Cowboys to cover that.
Oh man. Spread too big. Give me the Saints.
It's a shame. All right, Ian down one for sure right there. Moving on. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the other Big D, Detroit. The Lions hosting. Buccaneers plus 7. Who you got?
Oh, give me Tampa Bay.
Yeah, give me Tampa.
Y'all taking Tampa makes me want to take the Lions, but nah. I'll go with the Baker Mayfields. Moving on.
Nah, it's the Mike Evans. Let's not get confused.
Damn you.
Moving on. We got the Colts traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. It is currently Packers plus 3. Who you got?
Have they announced Love? Is he out for this game?
They're
so.
doing all this silly
Posturing.
like Kyle Shanahan did, and they're gonna get a fine. But
He ain't gonna play.
I don't
I
think
think
he
I'll take the
plays.
Colts.
Yeah, it's the Colts.
Another clean sweep.
It might have been the Colts with Jordan Love too.
AR.
Who was at home? I'd feel more. Yeah, whatever.
And moving on. The Browns.
Wait, Rudy, who'd you take?
The Colts.
Okay.
Yeah. Too many sweeps so far, though. I'm not liking it. The Browns traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. It's currently Browns plus 3.5. Who you got?
I'll go with the Browns.
Jeez. I have like no confidence this week. Okay, yeah, give me the Browns.
All right. God. Give me the Jags. Screw it. I need sunshine to come through for me. Moving on. We got the Niners traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. The spread is currently plus 6 to the Vikings. Fellas, who you got?
Give me San Fran. I know it's pretty big, but still.
Yep, San Fran.
Yeah, I don't think 6 is enough, to be honest. That's San Fran pretty easily on the road. Moving on.
Is that at noon?
Yeah, it is at noon.
Maybe, but no. Stick it to San Fran.
I mean, you could switch over to the Vikings if you'd like.
No. It's all right. It's okay.
All right. We got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Foxborough to take on them Patriots. The spread is currently Patriots plus 3.5. Who do y'all got?
What time is the game?
It's at noon as well.
Give me the Pats.
I want to do it, but just give me Seattle.
I'm going with the Patriots. And moving on. We
Moving on.
got the Aaron Rodgers led Jets traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The spread is currently Titans plus 3.5. Fellas, who you got?
Jets, and we're gonna have another one of those terrible memes that Levis gave us because of that interception.
Yeah, Jets, 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 Jets.
And it's a clean sweep for the boys in green. Moving on. We got a divisional matchup here. The New York Giants taking on the Washington Commanders. The spread is
Oh,
currently Giants plus 1.5. Fellas, who you got?
Commanders.
boy, I don't know, man. Can this just be like nothing?
What's the difference? But at least they were able to put together some offense.
I guess. All right. You convinced me. Give me Washington.
Oh, I thought I would at least get one on Chief, but apparently we're all going with the fighting Jaden Daniels. So only thing to do is moving on. We got the Rams traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. This is our first 3 o'clock game. The spread is currently Rams plus 1.5. Who y'all got?
Whoa.
So basically a pick 'em. Give me the Cardinals. Why not?
Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I'll take old man Stafford there. I'll take the Rams on the road. Moving on. We got the Bengals traveling to KC to take on the Chiefs. The spread is currently Bengals plus 6. Fellas, who you got?
Ooh. Give me the Bengals to cover, but they ain't gonna win.
Ditto.
I'll go with the Chiefs. I'll say they win by more than that. Moving on. We got the Steelers traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. The spread is currently Broncos plus 3. Fellas, who you got?
Steelers on the road again.
Give me the Steelers.
Yeah, I think I'll take Pittsburgh.
That's gonna be a terrible game, bro. It's gonna be. You might fall asleep with that one. Honestly,
Oh,
watch it be nationally televised too.
oh yuck. I will say, dang. I didn't buy his stock, but I'll say Bo Nix gets it done. Give me the Broncos.
Ooh. Oh, you know who's starting again this week?
Justin Fields.
Fields.
Yeah.
Your namesake.
Oh yeah.
Moving on. Sunday night football. We got the Bears traveling to Justin's favorite team, the Houston Texans, where the spread is currently Bears.
Why is this on Sunday Night Football?
Bears plus
That's ridiculous.
7. Fellas.
Give me the
Who you got?
Texans. Give me the Texans. Hammer it right now.
Wait, it was Bears plus 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, give me the Texans.
Clean sweep for Humidity Houston. They get it done. Monday night football. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles in a battle of the birds. It is currently Falcons plus 6.5. Fellas, who you got?
Give me the Eagles.
Likewise.
And we finish with another clean sweep. The Saquon Barkleys will get it done for all of us.
Anything else?
Nah.
Let's get out of here.